If you're looking for a perfectly curated life, you are definitely in the wrong place. But if you're interested in watching someone rebuild their life from the ground up after getting fired, walking away from corporate life, and just simply betting on herself, welcome to my corner of the internet. My name is Lex. I am 29 years old. I'm from Central Florida, born and bred. And I was quite literally fired twice in 2 years. After that happened to me, I made the very bold decision to quit traditional work, quit 9 to 5 life. I am currently running a service based business here in Central Florida. I run it with my mom. I'm also a CrossFit coach and I'm pursuing a freelance career as well as now working on building a personal brand. In 2024, I felt like I hit rock bottom when it came to my career and my financial situation and how much I was struggling to figure everything out. But since then, I have kind of rebranded myself, reinvented myself, and I am slowly but surely building myself back up piece by piece. So this isn't like a how-to YouTube channel or like a let me give you some educational experience type of channel, although I would love for it eventually to become that. Right now, this is just a what's happening as I go type of channel, a video diary, a log for me to keep track of and share my process and my journey. I really want to create a space on the internet where we have a collective community of people who are like minded. So it really is about reinvention in real time. When I lost my job the first time in 2023, I really felt like it was the end of an era. It felt like such a big relief and such a big burden at the same time. I'd never felt such mixed emotions about my career path ever in my life. But ultimately, I was starting to realize at my young age of 27 that working a corporate job and forcing myself to do something that I really didn't want to do was draining me. It was emotionally and mentally draining, and I didn't have the energy or the capacity to fill my cup beyond what I was doing in the corporate world because I was just tired. I was just exhausted. I felt like I was in a mental prison. I felt like I was in an actual prison when I had to sit at a desk in an office next to one window. I quite literally felt like there was such a huge burden lifted off of me when it happened, but then there was this other financial burden that was placed on me. So after that, I had been living independently since I graduated from college. And after all of that happened, I decided like, hey, it's time to go home. At 28 years old, I decided that I needed to move back home. And it was actually a culmination of several things. My mom actually was diagnosed with breast cancer around the same time. And I just thought, when would be a better time than now to go back home? I was raised by a single mom. So, she needed me and I needed her. I needed help. So I decided to move back home. It provided me a lot of clarity. It provided me a lot of time to heal and decompress after I had gone through this huge kind of traumatic experience with my career. Moving back home helped me heal and kind of reverse engineer a lot of the things that I was talking to a lot of the stuff that I was saying about myself, a lot of the things that I was saying to myself, I needed to like reverse engineer it and kind of like stop being so hard on me. I'm a very resilient human being. I was raised by lots of strong women who are also resilient and strong, and, just stubborn, hard-headed, very hardworking. So I knew that I had this resilience in me to figure out what the hell I actually wanted from my life, from my career. And I just kept continue to feel this calling of just like being my own boss. And it sounds so cliche, but that's like, it just literally every ounce in my being, every fiber of who I am continued to call toward me that I needed to pursue entrepreneurship and I needed to figure out how I'm going to be my own boss because just I just needed to settle on the fact that I was not going to go back to working a traditional 9 to 5. What now? After you decide, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, like what the hell does that even mean, right? Like what now? The main thing that I struggled with was figuring out how to lean into like what the hell I'm even good at and what I like and what is it that I specifically wanted to pursue. But then I ultimately kind of landed on the fact that I really love social media and content creation, and I really love the organizational side of it. And I knew this about me because I started a business with my mom back in 2020, in 2021 during the pandemic. And I was essentially in charge of all of the social media, the digital marketing. I came up with a marketing plan. I came up with social strategy. I mean, like, I learned a lot. I even went as far as getting my Google certifications for social media, for digital marketing and e-commerce, because I said to myself, I love this. This is what I want to do. And I just knew instinctually almost that in order to have a successful business, we needed to have a strong marketing plan. And neither of us knew how to even go about that. So I said, all right, I'll learn. Please don't beg. And so when I lost my job in 2023, I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to lean into the business, but I needed to come up with a strategy because the business needs to be self-sustaining before I can accept a paycheck from the business. So I needed to find a way to balance all of those things. So I said to myself, I'm going to start pursuing a freelance career. So that's currently something that I'm working on developing. Beyond that, I said, okay, the easiest way to get comfortable being a good freelancer, I know I'm good at what I do. The easiest way to get comfortable talking about myself and pitching myself to brands and all this stuff is to build a personal brand, is to just continue to lean into what I have been doing, but in a way that's going to serve a career for me. So essentially what I'm doing is juggling, a service-based business, freelancing, personal brand, and CrossFit coaching. And I'm trying to make all of those things work for me in a way that produces me multiple streams of income and lets me build a life that I know that I deserve, that I've worked really hard to build. I am really, really obsessed with the idea of reinvention. And my reinvention, as well as helping others come to the realization that it's time for them to reinvent themselves as well. I firmly believe that people can change, people evolve, people have new belief systems, and it happens all the time, especially in today's day and age where we have access to information, technology. So I really, really am fascinated with the idea of reinvention, starting over, starting new. Change doesn't make me uncomfortable like it does some people. So on my channel, I really aim to document a journey that is transparent and authentic to who I am as an individual. Being in survival mode really shaped me into the person that I am today. I have had a lot of life experiences since a young girl that, forced me to consistently be in this mode of survival. I'm realizing now as I come into my 30s that I don't want to just survive anymore. I don't want to be in survival mode. I want to be thriving. I want to love my life. And I don't want financial situations or career status or accolades to get in the way of me loving my life and myself purely. The clarity that I gained from losing everything made it so that in my mind, I am not scared of taking leaps of faith into anything, because when you have nothing to lose, you really are not scared of much. You're already so humbled. You're already in a place of just waking up and learning how to be grateful that you're still alive. So losing everything really gives you clarity. And it gave me the clarity that I don't want to chase a perfect life. I don't want to work so that I can afford a lifestyle. I want to create a lifestyle that work is compatible with. And I'm not chasing perfection. I am chasing the impacts that I can make in the lives of others. And a big part of my personality is serving others, is helping other people. And in my corporate job, I just felt like I wasn't getting enough of that. And that's probably why I felt burnt out most of the time. But I do feel this sort of calling to serve, teach, share, and uplift people. And there's been a pattern throughout my career when I have been working traditional jobs of that. I was a teacher, I worked with a nonprofit organization, I was in an AmeriCorps program. I have this very, very strong pattern of serving, teaching, and just really wanting to give back to my community. And I think right now, my personal brand and my social media is a really strong and powerful medium for me to be able to do that. There's a quote by Audre Lorde that says, caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it's self-preservation. And I think that that's a very powerful quote because reinventing yourself is a form of resistance, essentially. It is a form of radical self-love and self-care because you are rejecting the thoughts, beliefs, and value systems that have kind of been pushed on you your whole life, and you're deciding to do it your own way. I want to wrap up my first video by letting you guys know what to expect from me. And if you would like to stick around and see where this goes, I would be more than happy to have you. So first and foremost, like I said, this is my digital diary. I would like to share stories behind the scenes about my freelance career, my personal branding, and freelance struggles and advice if anyone is interested in hearing more about that. It is ultimately going to be my space for collective meaning making. I want it to be a community. I also want to give advice to people who are unemployed and deciding to start over or choosing to pivot in their lives because, well, sociology teaches us that that's okay. The transformation is a totally normal part and necessary part of the human condition. And so I really, really want to shed light on that and put a lot of emphasis on that here on my channel. So if you're here, you're probably going through something similar and you are ready to bet on yourself. But either way, welcome. I'm so happy to have you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.